What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is Blazer King with King's Critiques, and we're back for DanDaDan. And this is the season finale for season 2 that, frankly, I should have finished months ago, but again, the red guys pulled their whole shenanigans. But at least their shenanigans are being, shouted out loud on Twitter. There's so many people that have finally had it with having their channels wrongfully terminated. That's actually a movement. Funny how this movement started after I got my channel back, but I'm in full support of it. Anyway, important part being season finale. Let me know what you've thought about the season up to this point. Are you excited for season 3 that I believe we're already confirmed for in actually just a couple of months, honestly, I think. Might be wrong. And yeah, all that. Or of course you can hold it for the end of the episode, which is usually preferred, so you at least get the full grasp of the rest of the season. But that said, as always, highly appreciate if you could let the video run through, let me get the watch time, hit the like button, subscribe, and that said, let's get into things, shall we? I think the crazier part is imagine Psycho coming home while all this is happening and just be like, what the fuck happened to the house this time? I don't think pressing random buttons is a good idea, especially if it's your first time in a mech. Honestly, you'd think the fat kid and Ken would be the two that, would have some clue of how this works. Clearly not. There's actually a fucking owner's manual for it. That's insane, actually. You wouldn't think something they made out of thin air would have also come with an owner's manual attached to it. Honestly, that kind of thing is peak comedy. It's so subtle, so, unique, but it's so fucking good. Let's all push a button at random and see what happens. Well, you lost an arm, activated a cuckoo clock, and the other arm is just kind of spinning. Great start. Yeah, I don't think that's all good information. Even the mech's like, no, all those childish things. If I keep swinging and you get in my way, that's your fault. Just like it was totally my earbuds' fault that they got in my way for trying to make an example. Success. Kinda. Well, Kaiju got the first hit. Oh no. Yeah, I think creating that giant mech has actually handicapped them for the moment. Well, seems like one of them figured out how to make the laser beam work. Okay, no, nobody figured out how to make the laser beam work. That was actually him getting out of the chest cavity. Meanwhile, the thing that they should have, had fight this kaiju to begin with, apparently he couldn't handle the shockwave and just got flown himself. Yeah, that's not good for the 3 that are left in there. See, this is how you should have handled it to begin with. Just approached Evil Eye and went, that thing is very strong. It's stronger than me. Why don't you go challenge it? Let him. No, Evil Eye said he wants to fight it. Let him fight it. Oh, hey. The mech isn't inoperational. It took that attack and it's still moving. And they figured out how to make it work. Although they're down 2 of the pilots. See, the fat guy's getting it. It doesn't matter how you're... it's not like a real robot. You don't need to actually, pilot it. You just gotta think about it and make what you're doing feel right. Oh, snap. Now it's what he actually wanted it to be instead of what, Momo interfered making it into. And you know what? If he wants to self-insert and self-actualize like that, let the fat kid go for it. Okay, no, that's funny. And he just turns her off. Honestly, don't we wish we could do that to people more often, is when they start bitching, you can just go, and it shuts them up for a minute. Also, the Pegasus thing, why do I feel like that's also a little bit of a shout to Saint Seiya? Because it's covered in gold, kind of like Pegasus was the original armor to become a golden set of armor in Zodiac. I haven't watched Saint Seiya in forever, but as I remember reading, that's a thing that happens. And good lord, I need to either find the English dub for Knights of the Zodiac and see if they ever ended it. Because that's a completely different show compared to Saint Seiya, which the Japanese sub is way different than the dub. The best thing the dub was bring me the Bowling for Soup version of Iran. Bowling for Soup? Oh, wait, is it Bowling for Soup that does the cover of that? Whatever. Yeah, if anybody knows how to find those things, let me know down there. Because, like, there's parts of Saint Seiya on Crunchyroll and or Netflix. But I'm not sure, where's what actually. So let me know. But that said, we're about to hit an intro. However, we did already pay our respects of listening to the intro and outro at the penultimate episode. So I'm just going to hit the button. They are banger songs, so listen to them when you watch yourself. Or look them up officially so people can still get their kashish. I can't tell if Evil is excited to be watching this fight or if he just can't handle the wind. Okay. Disarmed. Okay. I don't think taking an arm that's been broken off is the same thing as using a rocket punch. But you know what? Close enough. Okay, the way he's actually just humming in joy while he's doing this shit is crazy. But now he's actually standing a fair chance against this thing, so let him have his fun, I guess. Actually, hell, maybe they'll, give him a couple of blocks to mess around with if they ever need his help again. I won't lie, though. Actually, the mech kind of looks like something more that would come out of, Digimon or a random season out of JoJo's. Probably a better way of looking at it, but, am I wrong? The totally looks like something Digimon or even JoJo-esque. Yeah, point blank, that beam attack hitting would not be good. Oh, good. He's getting his own exposition. But maybe that'll help him, figure out how to do something about that point blank blast. Yeah. Trying to say multiple words with a similar sound to it in a row is ugh. Also, I'm glad I was never, a kit or a model person, because that would be one hell of an expense. Because, buying figures is one thing, when they're already, 90% put together. But I have one that I still need to put together that's just been chilling in the living room. I hope the super glue didn't freeze in that, otherwise I won't be able to put it together. Probably should have thought about that before sticking it by the window. See, in that kind of statement, you run into him on purpose and you're calling him the moron. Listen, this is the kind of thing where he should be allowed to stick a fucking lead pipe in your spokes, so you try to move and then you just... Still buy crap like that. You're too old for it. My guy, do you know how expensive those are? And then he's probably going to run it over like a true scumbag, right? I'm pretty sure even if you're, in Japan buying them at retail price, shit's still pretty expensive. $40 minimum for something like he had. So, I don't understand how people are constantly oh, you're buying that crap, you're buying... My G, do you know how much this crap is? It doesn't matter what age you are. You should look at somebody who owns something like that and be well, at least the parents either care for him enough or make enough money that they don't mind buying it for him, or he makes his own money. Which, honestly, that second thing, or that last thing, is the most respectable bit. Unlikely, but my point being, at retail price, pretty sure a lot of kits are anywhere from $30 to $300, depending on what you're getting. And something like what he had, easy 50 through 2, maybe. And I'm going to follow up real quick. I acknowledge I was talking shit about him to begin with when he first came on screen. And I still... Listen, my opinion about this guy is, similar to Ira. Although I still hate her. She's a fucking wretched, stupid cunt. But he's an annoying asshole. Kind of taking things misconstrued for the conversations Momo and Ken were having. But, at least, unlike Ira, he's proving himself to, be worth something. What has Ira done? Take over the spirit of a prostitute and then join in the fighting against enemies that they can actually fight against? She's proven a good assistant. Not really useful otherwise. Definitely not a leader, like she says. Though I will say, if your book bag looks like that, you might deserve to get bullied a little bit. Because there's a difference between wearing a book bag like that when you're going to a con or something, and then wearing it casually to high school. that might deserve a little bit of bullying. But again, that kind of backpack is probably pretty expensive, so like... So it turned invisible again. Cheating. Also, again, I will say, it's very unfortunate for people that might live in these buildings if this shit is happening, because... Yeah, especially when you can't even see half of it. That is actually a whole other thing, is what are people actually seeing about what's happening? You know, how much damage is actually being done. Well, at least Momo was able to help out from you actually dying. Oh. Okay, well, I see. I guess that's a thing. The kaiju is able to inherit the abilities of its pilots. Ooh, actually, maybe that means Ken and Gigi should get back in there. Because imagine the speed of Turbo Granny and the power of Evil Eye being added into that mech. Also, I really hate to compliment her, but I'll say again, as I'm sure I've done at least once, she's way hotter when transformed into Silk Prostitute. And I'm sorry, I know the whole story behind, the Silk Spirit is like all sad and whatever, but she, in reality, is a prostitute, and that's why what happened. Actually, again, I think I'll add on a skank having a prostitute spirit actually kind of like works together well. Yeah, no shit you can't. It's charging up its beam attack again. Hooray! I appreciate Momo's look at it. You don't kick or punch this thing, you gotta fucking powerbomb it! Well, apparently what looked like a completely destroyed town was just basically domain expansion. Oh, well, the monster's been defeated, but the mech can be seen. Shit. Yeah, just like visualize being invisible until you can get back to where the house is. So you just turned it into a spaceship. Okay, so it's like part robot, part spaceship, part house. Yeah, none of you... Why is there also just a giant nose in the middle? Y'all should work together to visualize this better. Well, you're almost there. You two? Yeah, all three of them, the motion sickness has caught up. Oh no. His wasn't motion sickness, it was just the pure joy and emotion after the fact of he got to pilot a robot. He got to fight in a mech. And honestly, I can't blame him. Nope, and we flash back a little bit to see Ken seeing what happened. And have to get as many pictures as he can now that the fight's over. Oh, that was other people's pictures. Wonder if we'll try and get them off those people. Oh no, the kaiju's still alive? Oh, it's just Minor tries now. What the fuck is he doing? Well, that was a quick transformation. Ah, bought him hot food. Smart! Where's the kaiju? Did we defeat it? Yeah, but there's just a little problem. At least some people... Nope, never mind. Those are selfie sticks. Here, I thought the one guy had a golf club in case it woke up. Now you have to run all the way back to the Ayase household to figure that issue out. And now they're being followed. Apparently they had way more stamina than the people trying to follow. Bro, listen, congrats on figuring out how to control it to begin with, and that helped the other two figure it out as well. But you still weren't able to beat it by yourself. You needed the help of the girls. So, chill. Right. Now that all this is over, we have to explain this. The simple answer to your question is kind of. The harder explanation is it's not just kaiju. Gigi's just over there clapping his feet together because he's like, I don't know, exhausted, fascinated by what the house currently looks like. Well, Ken's explaining the finite details. Actually, yes, kinda, sorta. Because if the wrong thing gets its hands on those, we could all fucking die. I like how Ken says, no, it's not something that important. But what if it was? Because, like, listen, if your testicles are that powerful that ghosts and spirits are trying to find it, if Turbo Granny had one, she could have left the area, and she is super powerful. So what if something that strong, more powerful than this kaiju, gets a hold of one or even both of your balls? That way, you might be in a little bit of danger, man. Okay, there are two things to mention here. One, you might have a point about Gigi. He's only technically split personality, so, like, you can trust him, you just can't, like, splash him with cold water, or, I guess, anything cold. Two, that thing's starting to spark, so that's probably not good. Is there something piloting that kaiju? The actual thing that could turn invisible? Oh? A new ally? Also, you gotta, find it funny how Kenta keeps calling Gigi the hot guy. Honestly, full transparency, seen hotter. Definitely a fuckboy, though. Not much going on up here, but conventionally attractive. And also a super nice guy. Yeah, that is fuckboy written all over it. He's not quite muscular enough to be called a himbo, but he's definitely a fuckboy. Wait, it's a literal costume. Hold on, what? And that is a conventionally attractive female with antenna. They just discovered an alien. They just discovered another actual alien. A hot alien. Huh. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be good. Those two coming outside to see another hot girl in their yard. Because, like, so far from, like, the main cast, I'm not gonna count Momo's friends on this, we have Psycho, Momo, Ira, and now Ira drops down a spot because this alien chick is way hotter than her. And the look of, why is there another hot girl in my yard? Oh. Yeah, that, at least it was not his first kiss. Momo already got that. So there's that. Both Gigi and Kenta, though, are like, what? The rage. And her squishing that block is essentially the same as her wanting to crush Ken's balls right now, even though it's not his fault. Like, you can tell by the look on his eyes that he's just as surprised as the rest of them. Oh, she blew the house up. Well, it had to be rebuilt again anyway. Seriously. So that's going to be an interesting moment when the season comes back. Definitely, like, that is something I remembered seeing on Facebook and Twitter and shit after the season ended a couple of months ago. I was not thinking it'd be like the literal last scene in the season. Excuse. Like, I was expecting something else over-dramatic from Momo or Ira. The over-dramatic, what? Before it cuts off, that kind of thing. But now we're here, and Ken has kissed hot girl number 2. Honestly, like, I know I talk a lot about considering the harem genre. Would we count this as a harem by this point of the show? Because, like, 1 or 2 girls that into you is one thing, but I think 3 might be the point we start considering maybe it's also a little bit of a harem. Because, like, it's a rom-com, and, like, obviously you have your bottom bitch in Momo, but do we also count it as a harem by this point? Because I guess also, technically, maybe you could also include Gigi to be, like, the really good best friends that in some universe you could probably spin to be something else. And also Evil Eye, who is, like, really into the challenge of fighting against Turbo Granny Ken. And again, in other universes, that could be spun into something else. I don't know. Let me know your opinions on that much. And your opinions on that last couple of episodes for this and the entire season, obviously, because the kaiju fight was really cool. Was not expecting it to be an actual alien. Like, I knew he was going to kiss somebody at the end of the season. I knew they found another alien. I just did not know how that went down. And I did not know that she was the kaiju. So I imagine at the top of the next season, we'll probably, like, not only have some sort of also appropriately angry reaction from Momo about the situation of her directly confronting this woman, but also them probably having a conversation of, was that you that can turn invisible who took the bullet to begin with? Was that you who started the fight? Why did you start a fight with us? Like, you look just as human as the rest of us. Actually, she's the most human alien we've seen thus far, and can definitely tell that much. So, oh, well, we'll figure it out within however long. I don't remember when season 3 was cited for. I want to say it was within the first quarter of the year, like January or February or something, but I could be wrong. I won't look it up on screen because that, like, goes to extra editing I need to do. That's just a little bit annoying. But, that said, you can let me know your thoughts on the season, the last couple of episodes, and anything else to do with the show, or other shows, movies, etc. I should check out this season, next season, or in general, in the comment section down below, because as always, that's highly appreciated, as is hitting the like button, subscribing to the gaming channel in the description, ring both bells, like, Facebook, follow Twitter, and Blue Sky, keep updated with things, TikTok, Patreon, where one day I might be able to upload all of the backed up stuff I have onto there, because holy heckles, Patreon is like the worst platform to work. Like, people think Twitch is bad to work with. People think YouTube is bad to work with. Patreon are the worst. Also, TikTok. TikTok's pretty bad to work with, I guess, too, according to Vandy. But Patreon is the literal worst to work with, because you think you could be like, hey, I have people that are subscribed to me on paid memberships. I sent out a paid thing recently that should trigger for me to be allowed to upload shit. So I can't and fix it so I can upload shit, because they don't want to. They don't like helping creators. They like the money they get, but they don't like helping creators. Anyway, enough bitching about Patreon. Also remind you to go follow Twitch, subscribe there for benefits, can so Twitch plan for free. Helps me out immensely, temporarily, and that's for long term. I have agreed. I haven't mentioned that in a bit, but you should go follow there. Till next time, Ben the Blazer King with the King's Critique. Out, ta for now. Peace.